warning that this poem preludes to abuse. It doesn't actively mention it. This one's called Consumed. Your eyes flickered the candle lit in the center of the table as wax drips down it. Drip, drip, drip. As it pools at the bottom, leaking over onto the wood, the candle slowly melts. It becomes smaller and smaller as more and more of it spreads into the surroundings. It consumes the other objects with its sticky, hot wax. When it cools, it will leave a broken mess that you have to scrape up with a butter knife, a residue of wax. Sometimes you'll wonder if scraping at the table will ever make it new again. Will the residue left behind ever be forgotten? How long do you have to scrape, feel, and dig the knife into the harsh wood only to brush up flakes that stick to your fingers and under your nails? Oh darling, how do you always end up in these situations? The voice of your mother, father, sister, brother asks in a whisper, the hot sticky wax consuming your insides now, taking your breath and leaving your throat coiled like a snake as you are left stammering. The smoke from the flame has been left in your eyes, which are now burning. As you look into the sky, just try to stop the tears. The tears come anyway. They come like a flood, heating your face with harsh wetness. They clump and gather at the end of your chin, lips, and nose. Strands of your hair stick to your face. The wax moves and drips down into your chest. You are still stammering, wheezing now as the sharp twisting knife of your mourning spreads through your body. Oh darling, be quiet now. We'll fix it. They whisper, taking out a can of gasoline. You're melting, dripping slowly as the fire starts burning around you. Waves of heat from flames cannot be doused by your tears. The wax has made it to your legs, the painful popping of your bones, slowly turning into the moist, bloody dripping as you melt, losing control of any strength you could muster. You cannot even stand. That is when you come to realize something. You become the candle, and they don't let wax dolls stand.
Y'all put your hands together one more time for Lee Faye. You know, if we were a cult, we wouldn't nicely ask people to come back. They wouldn't have a choice. That's how cults
I got
work.
nothing there. Hey, Jonathan, do we have social media, speaking of cults?
We do have social media. We are on Facebook. You can find us on Facebook at Dayton Poetry Slam. We are on Instagram at Dayton Poetry Slam. We are on the regular ass internet at DaytonPoetrySlam.com. If you haven't visited our website in a while, that is an update from poetry.com/poetryslam/OH/Montgomery County /Dayton. I just made that second address up.
Only middle and I get that joke.
I understand. We were recently kicked off Christian Mingle, so anyone looking for us on there, I'm sorry. We had some rather controversial views about how our job as Christians is to just love everybody. But we're gonna go ahead and call the next poet up. Please.
Fuck yeah, that was awesome. Let's give another round of applause. Alright, please give another round of applause for someone I'm very excited to see here. It's been a minute. Let's give it up for Iden.
Hi everybody. I told my friend I would dress like a whore tonight, but I think I got closer to like pleasure model replicant, but I'm not sure. It's really fun. I never get a chance to come out and read, and I wanted to take this chance also to plug a new project of mine, which is putting all 7 volumes of my poetry. 4 of them have never been released before, and I will be putting them all on my website for free as PDF files. And the first of the ones that I have reformatted and put up there is a collection. I'm going to read one from it now. And this collection is called Everything Was Nothing and Nothing Was Everywhere. And it's a collection of just super dark, nihilistic shit. Stuff I was afraid to post or share because I didn't want to get pink slipped. But this is one of those poems. It's called Why Not? These are my thoughts from the edge, my notes from underground. They mean nothing to the cold, and I think them anyway. And fuck it, why not? God is dead, as the man once said, welcoming me to the desert of cried dry souls, where concrete and certainty are cheap, and sadness isn't cool anymore. Where I measure my smiles by the milligram and radiate bloody regret like all the other coronally shed queer stars. Here, nihilism is the commodity of the future. If I buy low, I can get high. Why not? Maybe I could pray for rain, profit off the prophets, as they say, and why not? Why not stagger along the middle way of all tomorrows and yesterday's parties? You know, the kids only seem all right because the world is all wrong. Fuck it. I should cut my losses. Let the red pool back to black. Tears are cheap here, and remembering isn't cool anymore, so fuck it. Why not? Why not find a balcony? Why not swing your legs over the void? Why not shout to the rabble? Let them insufflate cake, as the woman said, her head rotting in wicker and her tits immortalized in glass. Doesn't matter, it never did. God is dead, and even light cannot escape the suck at the center of a universe set adrift for glory. This is my regular Tuesday night orgy of one, lean back, unwind, luxuriate in frothing hot self-indulgence until my spinal cord is strung flat and my tension washed into the gutter by a dozen powerful jets of cerebral piss and whatever it is in the smoke that I love so much. This is as good as it gets. Numbness and a tomb with a view to all the newest blinking promises, LED lantern-lit church spires, announcing to me that the end is coming, one if by land, two if by OD. Viva la revolution, but please God save this queen from the horror of the absolute boredom that has settled upon me. My limbic system lies mothballed beneath dust cloth and behind my high-efficiency double-glazed loneliness. I don't hold my breath, and I don't count the tears I've left in the sewer. God is dead, as the bitch once said, from her perch on the ledge where she sat humming to the buzz of her nothing and waiting out the last seconds before liftoff. God is dead, and sadness isn't cool anymore. So why not? Why not indeed? Thank you.
Keep it going for Iden! Hold on, let's check my battery. Okay, we're good. Okay. All right, we got 2 poets left because we have 8 minutes of recording time. So 2 poets left. Then we're going to go ahead and take a break. So that makes this poet the penultimate poet of the first round. And I always feel bad because I feel like this poet always gets called towards the end of the night. So I want to make sure to get them in the first half. Please give a round of applause to Sophie!
Let's jump in Poetry Slam. Well, sad news, I had to put my cat down last week. So the poem I'm going to be reading, I wrote it. It's about her. This one's called On an Old Black Cat. Black kitty cat, a shadow of her pride, lay sleeping like a baby as if time forgot her. Lies. She snuggles as she dies. What's left? My memory of her warmth sublime. Thank you.
Hey, Jonathan.
Yes, darling.
Guess Sophie was one of our poets on this last month's Conrad's Corner on 91.3 WYSO.
And if people were like, what's Conrad's Corner? What would you tell them, Link?
It's a daily NPR segment produced by the Dayton Poetry Slam on the 91.3 WYSO, YSR, only if you be a pirate. WYSO, it's on Monday through Friday at 7:58 p.m. It's on Saturday morning at some mythical time called 6:58 a.m. I'm still not sure that exists. And then Sunday at 2:20 p.m. during the Deer Green Place.
If you are under 25 years old, 6:58 a.m. is probably a time you have still been awake for, but never woken up for. I swear I had the next poet picked out before I came up here.
Hey, Jonathan, real quick. It is, just to let people know, it's last call for pizza. So, last call for Pizza Bandit. Not Pizza Bandit. Sorry.
Yellow Cab Tavern Kitchen.
Yellow Cab Tavern Kitchen. Last call for pizza, last call for wings. Both equally delightful. And real quick, give Mark a round of applause for coming in and getting back tonight. Really appreciate it. Yeah, last call for food.
Yeah. And if y'all are like, I'm not sure what I want, dude, those wings fucking slap. They're spicy, but they're just the right amount of spicy.
Just right.
Running out of battery.
What?
Running out of battery.
Oh yeah, that's right, we're running out of battery. Y'all put your hands together for your next poet up to the mic, Arlo.
Hello. This is my first time here. And I will be reading Still Silent. Even now, after all this time, silence feels like a stranger. Voices have come and gone, some faded, some new. But you, at your core, are still unchanged. And the voices, you let them speak freely, almost gently, still finding a way to weigh heavy. They still haunt you. The things you did wrong, the ways you could have been better, and the persistent question of what makes you enough, motionless, stuck between wanting more and fearing it. Uninspired like every idea withers before it blooms. And unmotivated. I'm sorry, I read that wrong, it's fine.
You got it, Paul. You got it.
Everything to everyone as if love could be earned through exhaustion. You kept pouring yourself out, hoping that someone would notice, but you never slowed down long enough to realize what it was costing you. Tiny pieces chipped away in silence. Parts of you may never recover. What did you think would happen? Someone would see you, that someone would come and fix the broken parts, tell you that even those bad parts are lovable, that things would just change? Why haven't you realized abandoning yourself for everyone else will never make them stay? What keeps you in this cycle? What are you wanting? To be loved, to be seen, to finally hear someone say something kind, seriously? Why do you keep hurting yourself? Why is the truth so terrifying? You think it's scary because the truth is, you're so untethered, so eclipsed. You don't even know who you are. And now you have two choices. Be still. Do nothing. Be no one. Or confront the parts you're scared to release and finally give yourself the space to grow without the fear of rejection. The most infuriating part of this all is I am still you. Thank you.
Might be the stepdad, but I adopted and raised the bitch as my own. I say that having been adopted myself and adopted my oldest, so. All right. Hey, new shit. There's a magic 8-ball on the edge of my desk. I constantly shake my questions into it. A 20-sided Nostradamus with random reassurances. I often grab it to shake my hopes and dreams into a yes or a no question in hopes for the best. I often put my hopes into random life touches, and selfish prayers are easy to shape into binary queries. It wasn't like Zoltar. He and his ilk sent mixed messages. The animatronic was just a diversion, just there to show with generic advice. The card, that was where the real wisdom was. But that too was circular. I found a Zoltar once at a roadside arcade that touched the mystic energies for only 10 cents. After $10, he got repetitive, and the words lost meanings. Prayers were ignored. That's when I returned to the 8-ball, my plastic prodiginator, my murky watered sage that clearly directs my life. Yes, no, wait. I like the direct approach in my deities. Yeah, I figured Johnathon would take the 8-ball into the cocaine land reference. I've said it again. I've said it before. I will say it again. That boy ain't right. All right. Our next poet up. Hold on. There she is. Okay. Want to make sure. Our next poet up. Please give a huge round of applause coming all the way from the parking lot. It's Renee. Keep applauding. She's not here yet.
Hey guys, how we doing? So before this poem, I actually want to share a story about something that happened yesterday that kind of put my faith back into men. So I was like hanging out in Yellow Springs, and I was like walking down this alley, and I come upon this man. He's like obviously fucked up, okay? And I'm like, hey, sweetie, like my name's Renee. Are you okay? Do you need water? Yada, yada, you know, just like trying to talk to him, make sure he's good. And meanwhile, like these two other dudes like start walking down the alley, you know, and I can see they're kind of like observing me from a distance, like making sure that I'm good and stuff. But also like little thing about Yellow Springs is I know a lot of the locals there, and this one particular local that also like started walking down the alley, just like likes to harass me, just likes to be a dickhead. And while I'm talking to this person, I'm literally minding my fucking business. I'm massaging my belly because I got a fucking fart, okay? And I had a fart stuck. I'm not even gonna lie to you, okay? So I'm massaging my belly. This fucking dumb piece of shit looks at me for no reason, and he goes, Renee, stop that. And I'm like, why? Who the fuck are you? Don't fucking tell me what to do. Fuck you, bitch. And I start going the fuck off on him, because I'm like, don't fucking tell me what to do. I don't fucking know you. So, he gets up, he gets mad, and he's like, oh, hell no, and like gets mad. And then this person that doesn't even know me, he's such a sweetheart, such a gentleman, didn't even fucking know me. like runs up and kicks this dude's fucking ass. Kicks his fucking ass. And when the cops come, and we're like talking to him. While I'm talking to the cops, this dumbass got the audacity to walk around and try to talk to us while we're talking to the cops and like hurling all these insults at me and being like, you got all these men under witchcraft and you're a devil's angel and all this. And while he's like saying all this like stupid shit to me, I'm shaking my hips in the rhythm of all the words that he's saying to me. And I'm mocking him and I'm like, oh, I'm a devil's angel, oh. And it was just a very iconic, if you know me, you know. Anyway, so I just really want to say thank you to Francis. I don't know if he's here yet, but I just want to say thank you, Francis, for being a gentleman and for risking going back to jail, like for somebody you don't even fucking know, dude. Like you're a real gentleman, and I think men like that need to be protected. So thank you, Francis. Anyway, so this poem I'm gonna share is New Shit. This is called I Know Something About You. Somebody said, uh-oh. I know things that you don't. Like how you say how badly you wish to ruin people's lives for petty reasons, then turn around to say how badly you want to represent love in worship of a goddess who saw and heard everything you just did. Are you not tired? Isn't that horse you've been beating for a while already dead? I know things that you don't. Like how you care so much about how people perceive you, you're willing to kill, even yourself, over it. And I was at one point happy and even lucky to be a horse for you. And you were happy with luck implied to beat me. I know things that you don't, like how your love is abuse, and I was a commodity of narcissistic supply to you. Apologize to me for saying you feel unsafe around me, or I'll never talk to you again, or I'll just ruin your life. Or maybe I'll walk the fuck away and go around people who make me feel safe and not hurt and confused, and also not spiritually retaliate because I want this humbling to come from a less forgiving force than I. I want to watch you recruit people I thought that I could trust, only for them to get to know you and see who you really are and come crawling back because they realize they made a mistake discarding me for a friendship with a vampire like you. My revenge will be my success. They'll remain regretful they discarded my loyalty while watching me be hot, successful, and happy. I shall be crowned with all that every vampire has tried to steal from me, and they will be crucified on the same cross that they constructed for me. So mote it be. Siblings, hear me now. It is a strength, not a weakness, to be underestimated. People won't attempt to steal a treasure that they have no clue exists. Learn from my mistakes and setbacks. Don't keep your treasures on earth or in your chest. Thank you.
We love Renee here. All right, now let's give a big round of applause for one of the four legs of the big sweaty dog of the Dayton Poetry Slam. Welcome to the stage, Johnathon.
Did you call us a big sweaty dog? I mean, I'm cool with it, but So the other day while I was at work, cuts in congressional funding resulted in the Corporation for Public Broadcasting shutting down, or planning to shut down. And one moment. I needed another inch. And like a lot of people, like a lot of people, what's up? I was a little, I was angry. But because of PBS, I remembered that there was a guy on TV that taught me about like how to deal with anger, and his name was Mr. Rogers. And this poem's about Mr. Rogers and the comparison to the urban legend that surrounded Mr. Rogers when I was in school. Some of you may be reminded of what I'm talking about. And I apologize. This starts out with me singing, but like Mr. Rogers always said, I'm not very good at it, but it doesn't matter. What do you do with the mad that you feel when you feel so mad you could bite? When the whole wide world seems oh so wrong and nothing you do seems very right. What do you do? It's at this point I have to cut off the Mr. Rogers of my youth and insist on the Mr. Rogers of playground mythology stepping in. Fred, your gentle words no longer hold power in the halls of Congress, and John Pastore has been dead for a quarter century. So I think it's best for everyone involved if you just tear the sweater off and become the Navy SEAL we all whispered that you were. Show us those tattoos, the ink we put there to commemorate the 25 bodies we swore to one another that you put in the ground. And I know in reality, you're a man of peace. But Fred, the neighborhood of make-believe is on fire. Daniel Tiger is at risk of extinction. They cut down Henrietta Pussycat and X the Owl's tree. King Friday, Queen Sarah, and Prince Tuesday were killed by the fascists, and their castle is being turned into a 9,000 square foot ballroom. And Lady Elaine Fairchild is on the bender to end all benders. But I guess some things never change. Fred, I think it's time you add to the collection of tattoos. I think it's time to make it an even 50. And if you're worried about getting caught, we can bring Bob Ross along. Bury the evidence under some happy little trees. Don't worry about anyone finding out. They will be our little secret. For legal purposes, all PBS personalities mentioned in this poem have been dead for over 20 years. Any perceived threats are not actionable and therefore not against any known law. Y'all, I don't know if you know this or not, but I was not the last poet of the night, and as such, I have to call the next poet of the night up. Y'all, put your hands together. Coming from all the way over in this area somewhere, Jane. I didn't forget about you. I forgot about everything, so it's cool.
Okay. Hi, guys. Hi. So I am outside selling my art. Half of the proceeds are going to go to Have a Gay Day, and that we're here fundraising for tonight. And I do like to incorporate a lot of my poetry into my art. And so I was going to read a poem that's featured on one of my pieces. But with the vibes for tonight, I think the I Survived the Evangelical Train is where I'm going now. So, and I have to shout out Poet Barbie. Are you still here? Yes, okay. She titled this poem, this is old shit, but I see a lot of new faces, so here we go. All my life, I've cleaned up messes. My stepdad used to call me Cinderella, but not as a compliment. He gave this seemingly innocent children's tale a very unconventional twist, some weird form of control, I don't know. He quite literally had a God complex. Anyways, Sunday school and Bible study group messes, dirty floors, and then the mentally ill mother messes. My work was cut out for me as a child. All my life, I have cleaned up messes that were usually made by the hands of men. What is it with them? Do they all really need a Cinderella at their beck and call? Young men's messes started small. Dirty laundry, unwashed dishes, and goddamn the bathroom mirror. But they soon graduate from unfinished chores to emotional messes, family drama, unchecked misogyny. All my life, I have been cleaning up messes. See, now my Cinderella story turned grim because your mess changed my life forever. The mess you made with my love was filled with hate and horror. The mess you made riddled you with guilt, which is why I had to clean it up. But your mess stayed with me after midnight because all of my fucking life, I have cleaned up messes, so I didn't know that I could say no to cleaning up yours. Thanks, Dad. The Cinderella inside of me died when I took out your trash, but my mind is forever scarred. I might have washed the blood off my hands, and I can't believe it took me this long to understand that you were the evil stepmother the whole time, and I am my own goddamn fairy godmother, so fuck you. Clean up your own mess next time. I'm done.
We were like, whose turn is it? I don't know. It's your turn. No, it's your turn. I don't know. Whose turn is it? You take the ugly one. No, you take the ugly one. Which one's the ugly one? Where are my 90s kids at? You want to feel a little old? It's the 35th anniversary of the 90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, the live action one. That was my first midnight movie. Well, okay, that's the first midnight. That's actually a lie. It was my second. It was the first one that I purposefully asked to go to, because my very first midnight movie I was drugged to when I was 8 years old and sold in the Virgin auction at Rocky Horror. Oh yes, so much fun. All right, let's see here. I had somebody ask to go before a specific time. Okay, here we go. Our next poet up, please give a huge round of applause to Kryss. Here is Kryss coming back.
Hello, hello. I haven't been here in a bit, so it's good to be back. See everybody. Thank you. This new piece I'm reading is called Fireworks and Firearms, and I wrote it around the 4th of July. I live in a nation that chose to bury itself for no other reason but to feel its head in the sand, yet closed-window minds can't conceive that no one is illegal on stolen land. The postmodern rock star screams a silver truth of roller coaster alleyways and stairs, at the Bollywood sign driving down the mountain with golden-headed mares. Perplexed by empathy, the wolves of Wall Street always trick and eat their young. Only the asinine walk like a puppet that is evil strung. I know that these neighbors grow bitter by the day, but the reasons remain unknown to time like the dancing tide. So when will the floodgates open to cleanse and wash away the sins that we tried? This year, I gazed at the vibrant rainbow bursts at a park that I love and sat silent as everyone around me had someone to run to or share an evening smile, while I sat alone on the asphalt, questioning why any of this is still worth the while. Give me the daily dose of dissonance and show the way you glisten, if only foxtails could follow like the way you pretend to listen. Has the sound of sleep ever cost so deeply? I won't cease till the demons are extinguished in fire. Thank you.
Kryss with some new shit. That was great. Thank you, Kryss. All right. Please give a big round of applause for Tio. Woo-hoo!
Good evening. Good evening, y'all, man. Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I've been drinking good and ate good. I got the itis. I got the itis bad. I gotta go to sleep. I'm tell you. Hey, can I get vulnerable with you guys for a minute? Okay, this poem I had wrote called "The Darkest Side of Me." I can remember those days when I lived carefree and free. Never heard nor felt this thing we call grieving. Maybe I was simple-minded, blinded by those simple times when hate wasn't forced to destroy a man's soul, only to turn around and curse the very things that he spoils. From a man who didn't understand the true meaning of love until the shame came in and I couldn't cry because my pain turned into anger from losing 2 children. I never knew that the things could get even worse until I couldn't see any more smiles coming from my baby sister. I'm trying not to lose it, but it's hard for me to pay attention. I lost my auntie and my son's grandmother in the same sentence. I know they're up in heaven, peace and love are surrounding them. Even though my heart is pure, it's the pain that endures. Is this my defense to protect what's left of my innocence? Because I started to pull more to the darkest side. The feeling of receiving is not a feeling of pleasing, but being numb, if that's a feeling. It is shutting everything down that can ease me, or is it my protector? That is a projection of my own creation. It seems to me that the darkest side of me came to bring me peace, but people might say it's my enemy. Thank you.
Give it up one more time for Tio! Goes to show how much Jonathan was paying attention. Oh, you pulled an X. Okay, I get it. Right. Jonathan was gonna call the next poet up, but then he got high. Doesn't work the same. No, because X really was high all the time for that. Yeah. But I'm still calling the next poet up, and I know why. Because he got high. Because he got high. Because he got high. Da 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 da. All right, our next poet, please give a huge round of applause to Poet Barbie.
Hold on. I didn't know I was about to get called. Let me get in. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Okay, hi guys. As always, thank you for that welcome. I haven't really written any new shit since the last piece. I did the Father's Day show, so I'm doing some old shit, but but I'm doing this hopefully as a precursor to what's to come in my life. I'm going to start some weight loss medication tomorrow, so take a good look at this big, beautiful body, baby, because hopefully in the next month I'll be half of myself, or at least on the way to half of myself. Because let's be real, if I lost half of myself in a month, that want to be healthy. And I want to do it in a healthy way. So there might be a part 2 to this poem. So that's why I wanted to do. This is a precursor. This is called Medical Industrial Complex. Patient 63426, Megan Pertel, aka Poet Barbie. Pre-existing conditions: congenital spastic cerebral palsy, lymphedema, and lower extremities, morbidly obese, trigeminal neuralgia. Doctors say, go to the gym. I say, introduce me to a gym that is wheelchair accessible and that has employees who will assist me with machines. Doctors say, do aquatic therapy for lymphedema treatment / management. I say, refer me to an aquatic facility that has a pool lift that is able to hold my weight and employees that can assist me in both the lift and water. I need this facility to also accept my insurance for payment of services rendered. Doctors say, get an MRI while in a flare-up of trigeminal neuralgia so that we can try and pinpoint the cause of the attack and develop a better treatment plan. I say, how can I get an MRI seeing as I can't get into the MRI machine myself. I can't get myself on to the MRI table. Even if I could do so, would I fit in the MRI machine? Doctor's response: there are open MRI machines. However, we don't know how you would get in. Thus, hold on, I lost my place. Sorry. Thus, forgo the MRI. We'll continue with current treatment plan, even though I disclosed that I felt it wasn't working. Doctor's response: note, due to the degree of your trigeminal neuralgia, it is out of the scope of our expertise. Therefore, there's nothing more we can do. There's nothing else able to be done. The medical industrial complex is not accessible or inclusive. Lastly, I am more than a number. The medical industrial complex is not accessible or inclusive. I am more than a number. More than medical conditions. I am a person with medical conditions, and a beautiful one at that. Thank you.
Would you ask to get roasted? Sometimes people roast you. I mean, can we do anything about the ugly guy in the middle of the shot? No. Nah, fuck. You know what? I think we can. Y'all put your hands together for your next poet up to the mic. Coming from all the way from wherever they are in this building at this very moment, True. I could have done that for like another 30 seconds.
Hello, I've workshopped this poem a lot at Ink and Loom. Shout out to Ink and Loom. Shout out to Cameron. And AJ, thank you, appreciate it. And I've cut a lot from it. And I also want to say that the poem is not only a criticism of America, of course, for those who are here to hear it the first time, but it also is a way to heal from grief. Today is my grandmother's birthday. She's no longer with us. And so towards the end of the poem, thanks, you will see kind of that healing of that grief. Because I've cut it up, it is in 5 parts. Part 1, the insomnia. I'm awake and I've realized this place has kept us in fear. Dangers of the mind, temptations of tomorrow, broken, shattered, and glistening glass stuck in our pupils, premonitions of fate, staring, marching, resisting against fractured democracy and freedoms, flossing our ancestral roots with paper-thin threads of bloodied and battered bandages, searching for the stars, the very twinkling teaching the tic-tac-toes of our children to stand in the sands of time, to find discomfort in this chaos, blood, more blood, blood money burning, a rotten crucifix in the backyards of sinning priests. What cock of man could fuck the earth so well that our population values the banned book a bit more? Only ghosts are found in the confessional now. Streets littered with daily myriads of needles and addicts, our creativity limited by overpowered entities and brain-dead oligarchs, uprooted and disturbed by the Anakin Skywalker twist of faith in this world where we can understand your religion, but not the Russian nesting dolls of hypocrisy it's infected with. The evils in America only wish death, of connectedness, of the philosophy that everything is art, of those who remember what it means to stand on your desk and say, "Oh, Captain, my Captain," like Robin Williams in the Dead Poets Society. Of trans people who feel like ghosts in a country where they just want to feel like they fucking exist, of the immigrant, which would mean death to Jesus Christ, to libraries, schools, and other institutions, to your savings and stocks, to your precious scrambled eggs, to all things that don't align with America, told that real American citizens can't return here, told that we must comply and be happy, that things need to break in order for them to be fixed. I can feel the ice melting in the attic. I can feel our planet being swallowed by the sun, and yet somehow, some of us throw nunchucks of assault, manipulation, and murder into the air, expecting others to catch, expecting joy to be found in the fruits of life, expecting train derailments, plane crashes, and market dips to fill our souls with enlightenment. Bathe with us. Leave your muffled "I love you" in a box under your bed labeled post-war syndrome and keep your lips shut, son. The 9 dragons of the Supreme Court don't just braid their heads, they twist them into nooses, writhing in sync, and we wire the current and electrocute those bastards. The media, that gluttonous, groaning God machine, the puppet master with no pulse, the joy thief, the silence breaker, the eye rapist that whispered in our ears that the Mauritanians deserve to be waterboarded 183 times because somehow in America, justice can wear a flag for that kept us hypnotized hypnotized while our leaders shuffled chairs on a sinking ship. And some of the youth, their thumbs bleeding from endless doom scrolls, souls hollowed by clickbait, tethered to glowing coffins of curated chaos, a thousand thought bubbles fizzing with motherfuckery. Part 2, the nightmare scenarios. I'm still awake and I see SpaceX rockets filled with chemical-soaked confetti, exploding over our crops and oceans. The Statue of Liberty gives herself a C-section and names the baby Prometheus, and the American eagle pecks at his liver only to be rescued by Hercules, and the fragments of the American dream. I see our sense of art tossed into the furnace because the ChatGPT machine writes faster. I see it all with my bloodshot eyes in this darkened room, darkened country, darkened dystopia. I see the gray-colored, pothole-smitten streets of capitalism. I see the herring's wing as it sips on infected pond water. I see the magnificent joys of those who thief a tomorrow morning from the innocent souls of asylum. I see the frayed edges of American flags and the blood moon soiled with celestial zits and space rock scars, the geocorona of Earth whose hands hold landfills of satellites and trash, the horror of wartime and the blasphemous bombings on bodies, on bodies, on bodies, on bodies. I see the calligraphy written with the broken ribs of promise. I see the tidal waves of catastrophe speckled within media channels and the incredibly hard workers of factories and plants and farms and fields and warehouses and shipyards galore. I see the dying sunflowers covered in pesticide and skeletons of their own ancestors. I see the remarkable incoherence of pathetic politicians and the smokestack suicides they cause. I see the brilliant resistance to artificial intelligence because fuck AI. I see the makeshift hellscapes they falsify as a living wage. I see the exsanguinated guts of dreams scattered and pied off to pigeons. I see the breasts of women covered in handprints and bruises of father absence. I see their areolas bleeding from the teething mouths of their own children. I see the abandoned dog hovering beneath the tenement window. I see the various trees burning from our recklessness. I see the cattle and the sheep seeking refuge, waiting for Christ like the rest of us. I see the blade of fucks given tainted with the scratches of fucks received. I see the bastardized dragon egg tossed into eternal fire. I see the wind turbine stem turned into a cigarette Cruella de Vil could smoke while she laughs on her way to the pound. I see the candles on every birthday cake shaped like an airplane in 2001 melting into the icing, and the children licking their fingers afterwards, smothering their hands in red 40 and blue sprinkled PTSD of the mind. I see the endless and repulsive attempts at deporting those who simply want to live better lives in this country. I see the gobbledygook and yakety yak and haystack needle searching of those cockroach eating fuckers called ICE. I see the impregnated chaos of protest this government deserves. I see the night crawlers of indifference, the lice of madness, the candy-covered liars. I see the Mother Mary and her stained glass shattered by the ricochet of bullets and the light that still shines through it all. I see the names of those who didn't survive turned into telephone books used for your white privileged children to sit on at dinner time. I see the names. I see napalm milkshakes and Japanese cherry blossom tree killings. I see the Congolese suffering through a muffled genocide. I see Big Ben with its bells knocked out. I see the Sistine Chapel infected with bullshit NFT art, and I see the acts of nothingness and the families who are force-fed anti-ballistic missiles into their mouths as we microwave our home-cooked TV dinners seasoned with compartmentalized salt. I see a Ukrainian child using broken bricks as makeshift earmuffs so they don't have to listen to the bombs anymore. I see a Russian man chewing on his last family photo because he's paralyzed and 300 feet from the fruit tree. I see a nun cutting up a small cross and feeding it to the wolves. I see the Twin Towers turned into Twizzler straws and God sucking the people out from the top. I see the sphere in Las Vegas blown to smithereens because Icarus thought it was the sun this time. I see school shooting crime scene bullets turn into pendants they sell at your county fair. I see people turning terrorists into trading cards and selling them for profit, but good job that you collected one with Saddam Hussein on it. I see hope turned into a Fisher-Price toy that no one wants to fuck with anymore. I see a brainwashed teenager in the year 3000 buying an AI-powered Easy Bake Oven with a swastika on it just so their Auschwitz diorama can get a B+. I used to see magic. I used to see the blue hour at nighttime before LEDs infected every street lamp. I used to wake up in the morning and taste the petrichor and dew on my tongue. Now I just drown in the endless slumber of madness. Part 3. I'm sure your God goes to the liquor store every night, and his footsteps are best friends with the pavement. I'm sure your God holds emotional rigidity closer than a sun ray holds a shoulder. I'm sure your God gets off to the sound of artillery and ballistic missiles. I'm sure your God gets to rewatch any catastrophe whenever they want. I'm sure God watches heaven unfold itself like a burning paper crane just so they can send you back to hell. I'm sure God uses grape skin as contact lenses and still claims to not have a drinking problem. I'm sure your God has never picked up a book for more than 5 minutes. I'm sure God isn't proud of your body count. I'm sure your God knows that you're a fake Christian, chasing your silhouette against the broken brick walls of tomorrow. I'm sure your God hands out hypodermic needles like Laffy Taffy and still reads the jokes on the rappers, laughing alone when the punchline hits. I'm sure God thought they ate, but they didn't. They only swallowed culpability and denied accountability. I'm sure God has swastikas burned into the backside of his forehead. I'm sure God thinks DEI should be banned from the alphabet because Marjorie Taylor Greene told them to. I'm sure your God thinks that the final tier of an immigrant before their brains are blown out by some egotistical and brain-rotted pig in the Everglades is somehow fake. I'm sure your God doesn't want free health care because they're generationally separated and believe everyone should work for it. I'm sure your God thinks that Joe Rogan podcast with Donald Trump was the reason they voted for him, but at least they banned a transgender person from a sports competition. Your God always plays hopscotch with the teeth of wartime and expects my God to be the Novocaine. I'm sure your God doesn't mind the drilling into the jawbone on an American Monday morning because they don't know empathy the way my God knows a hymn. I'm sure your God believes Ghislaine Maxwell deserves immunity and believes Gaza deserves to die. I'm sure your God somersaults into a motherfucking panic over the tiniest disagreement. I'm sure your God flosses their teeth with the segregation and oppression of non-white people. I'm sure your God believes that everyone with HIV had sex with a monkey. Your God will never be my God. Part 4. Your God will never hear my mother and my laughter. It's as if her spirit possesses me in a good way, and my body acts as a vessel for her to experience the happiness that I'm experiencing in small and little moments. Sometimes I transport myself into those situations, and it feels real. I tell myself that I'll go to the craft store to buy a box of those letter beads, because that was how you woke up in Nashville. I'm in the rain on the side of a house, naked and battered with nothing on your body but a bracelet wrapped around your wrist that spelled blessed. And sometimes I zone out again, and I wonder what it must have been like to hold the gaze of 1,000 sharks, which is to say, each time you got high, you were simply staring death in the face with a needle in your arm. Perhaps I'll never know, even if I try. To shapeshift myself into the liquid flowing through your veins, I would know what it's like to be held once more by a mother. And if I transformed into the spoon, I'd know what it's like to carry you. And if I crushed a dead monarch's wing and created a translucent orange creamsicle and smoky eyeshadow, I'd eventually accept the feminine parts of myself more than I already do. And if I could have one last kiss from you on my forehead, and if I could spin you around, your eye whites, when you're on a nod, maybe I'd learn something Einstein didn't know. And if I could have one last prayer to God before you went to live with him, and if I could hold you until a dove flew across the sea to sing of your death, and if I injected a hypodermic needle into the motherfucking sun and collected its light, I'd somehow learn what it meant to burn at 1,000,000 degrees when you're in the crematorium. Part 5, love you too. Last part. I've seen the ghosts of my mother before her auburn hair kissed the tile at 42, and before sunlight came back to meet her quivering lip. My body, my brain, my third-grade notebook peppered with invisible ink because she couldn't help me with homework. And all I wanted was a mother, one that felt present, even if the heroin in her arms held her closer than I ever could. For if you did an autopsy on her soul, you'd be greeted with the most indescribable beauty of 1,000,000 kaleidoscopes, and I'll never understand how yesterday can creep into tomorrow like a symphony of blood on speed dial. And when we pass hope on our way into the afterlife, my mother and my grandmother will be there, covered in acetone, and I'll be holding the lighter, because grief does not exist where we are going. It just burns and burns and burns in places Dante could only walk. And the word mother will return to my throat after the smoke has risen, and before my mother has a chance to blame herself. And I will make a snow angel out of her ashes to prove to her that I am her son. And we can find peace in the healing, in the knowing, and it will be the first time I've ever danced with my mother in the rain. And it will be the first time I've went to sleep as an American insomniac. Thanks.
True, I love your poetry so much. It always makes me feel everything. All right.